Hello, Mr. Ed here on a really, really beautiful May 18th, 2024. Now, I am in a spot that you do not recognize. And the reason you do not recognize it is because it's nowhere near the Abbey. No, I'm almost 65 miles from the Abbey, and I am once again by myself. Well, not really by myself. Today's adventure leads me to Mount Hermon, Louisiana. And I got a call from Phil about several weeks ago saying, Jeff, I got some bees in this old house that I bought up in the country, and I want to keep these bees on our property. Now, he's already got a couple of hives over here already, but he wants to keep the bees here. Now, Phil and his wife, they operate a cat rescue operation, and I'll put a link to that operation in this video. And this is where they are going to be setting up that operation, is right here at this location here in Mount Hermon. And before they get it all set up, he wants to get rid of these bees, at least from the house, and then put them into a hive and keep them here. And to do that, what we're going to do today is we're going to remove them from the house. I'm going to bring them up to the Abbey, let them relocate at the Abbey, and then he's going to come back to the Abbey, pick them up, and bring them back up in here. So by the grace of God, in this hive, when you see the thermal image of it, it's large. And this house is probably built somewhere in the early 1900s, and so it's got that construction. You're not typically 16-inch on centers. In fact, where the bees are is over a window, so it's probably a 3-foot space. The bees had plenty of room to operate in, and so it's going to be an interesting removal. But by the grace of God, we're going to get these girls out of here, bring them to the Abbey, and then also at the same time, wait a week or two, and then Phil will come pick them up and bring them up here. So right now, let's go. I'll show you where the bees are on the outside, bring you on the inside of the house, and show you the bees on the thermal camera. Let's go in and see what's going on. Oh, and let's just walk over to where the bees are, and I'll show you where they are. Now, they bought this property 2 years ago, he said, and they never noticed the bees, and they don't come up here but on the weekends, and they never noticed these bees until about 2 months ago. That being said, that might be true or not, that the bees have only been here that long, but I doubt it. And this is where the bees are making their entrance into the house. Way, way, way up there on that little bit of soffit. And so you would think that, well, maybe the bees are in the soffit, but that's not the case, because they're only using that as the entrance, and they are then coming down and making it the hive right above this window right here. Let's get inside and I'll show you the image of the bees on their comb inside the wall. As we enter inside of the house, and here is a room, and look, there's Phil right there. Phil is, oh yeah, he's looking good. He is going to be the record rep. Actually, Phil has got construction background, and you did it for how many years? You did that?
17-ish.
So I think Phil has got qualifications to open up the wall right here. And he's set up scaffolding already. And let's get a picture of what these bees look like in that space above the window. And there they are. Oh my goodness, that is a very large hive. And it's completely above that space of that window. And in typical construction back in the day, there is no framing between the window, which allows the bees a tremendous amount of room to build comb. So Phil is he's already got his lines up on the wall, and that is the space between the studs, and he's going to cut the boards out from right there, and we are going to reveal the hive. Phil, you ready to cut some wood?
I hope so.
Let's do it. Man, oh man. Is that a beautiful hive? Beautiful. And I love the way the bees have drawn this comb out in slabs, big slabs like that. And just judging from the comb itself, these may be a hive that's only been here for, 6 weeks, 7 weeks, 8 weeks. I mean, out here there's so much foraging for the bees to get food, and the numbers are obviously here. So these girls have been extremely busy. So it's time for us to get busy. I'm going to first just vacuum up a whole bunch of these bees, and then we'll start pulling off the comb. And there is a lot of, there's capped honey right there, but look at all this open cell, and I'm sure there's just nectar in there. But the bees are very, very calm considering what they just went through. I think I'll start vacuuming these bees right here. As you can tell, I mean, I removed a bunch of the bees, and this comb, I really don't think these bees have been here more than 2 months. I mean, I see old brood comb that was hatched in this area right here, as well as right here that's already been backfilled. So the flow around this area has been fantastic for these girls to have been able to make this much comb and fill it so full in this short period of time that they've been in. And the comb, some of these outside pieces were actually attached to the boards, and as we were removing the boards, I had to put my knife in there to cut it away, and I did break off this piece right here. So this was the only piece that broke off. Other than that, you can see how loose these slabs are. Look at that. You see that wiggle in that? And look at this one right here. But this one's getting ready to tear out. I'm going to grab my yellow measuring board and start cutting these to size so that we can frame it up. I don't know how much of this uncapped stuff I'll be able to frame up because it's just going to start leaking. And if it leaks, there's no way we're going to put it in the hive. Now, this capped stuff right here, depending on the thickness of it, I should be able to get some of this framed up. But when we get to areas like this area right here, it's probably 2 inches thick of comb right in here. There's no way that's going to get framed up. And like this one, that won't get framed up. It's too thick. So Phil and his wife, they're going to get to enjoy the fruits of these bees' labor. Hopefully we're going to get some that we can frame up. But our flow is still just beginning. Our tallow, which is our final flow, it's just about ready to start. And so they'll have time to restock for the winter. And hopefully we'll be able to get all these bees into, I think it might have to go into 2 bags because there's a lot of bees and I don't want to overheat them. The other thing that I want to say is, oh yeah, that Phil had thought that these bees swarmed out of one of his hives. And if that is the case, let me kill this beetle right here. If that is the case, the queen was marked. So if that is the hive that swarmed from his hive, this will actually be the first queen that I found that was marked, if it's the same one. I don't think so, but we'll find out. I'm going to go ahead and start removing some of this comb and getting closer to our bees, and I'll have to vacuum up more bees, but it's going to be interesting. I removed that one section of honey right here. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. And then this one right here, I guess I ought to take this one out too because that's kind of in the way. And next thing I want to do is, this is obviously the bees are here because there's brood in there. There's probably, since I don't see any larvae, I'm assuming there's going to be some eggs or some very, very small larvae because they they just keep coming back to that one spot. So this is when we remove this piece, which is all honey. Now we may have brood on the back side of it, but I'm looking at what I'm seeing right here is our brood is really going to be concentrated right on this part right here. And yes, this will I'll go into a different ice chest than the honey, and I will leave the bees on that brood as I cut the comb. Fortunately for us, the comb only extends to about right here. Phil, can you show how far down the comb goes? So it does not go down far inside of that cavity of the wall, and it could have only gone down another, what, I don't know, 10 inches for sure. So fortunately, we're here before it got too far down inside of there. So let me go ahead, I'm going to remove this piece, and then I'm going to start removing sections. Hopefully I'll be able to frame them, and there may actually be brood on the other side, we'll find out. I cannot get over how thick this comb is. That's over 2 inches thick, 2.5 inches maybe. And I have to cut the comb in small sections because the comb is so new. If I didn't cut it in smaller sections, it would just crumble. So I try to keep it in, like 6 by 6, 8 by 8 sections, and that way it'll hold up together. At least it won't come running out. But all of this stuff, it's going to have to get squeezed out and then fed to the bees, because so far I don't have anything frameable up inside of there. But my goodness, some gentle bees and a lot of honey in here. So now I'm going to take out this section. I'm going to remove the whole section right there. This part right here, I'm going to take that part out, and then we're going to get to the part of where the bees and the brood are. And I had the flashlight going, shining right on here, and you can see there was a lot of uncapped brood right in this area right here. So this whole section from about right here down is going to be our brood, which we'll be able to frame up. We'll get at least two good frames of brood, and we'll try to get some other comb up in there as well. It's just that the comb is so irregular in thickness, it is going to be hard to frame up any of that honey. A lot of bees still, a lot of bees. It is now time to attack the brood section. Man, this honey up here was like gorgeous, gorgeous honey. And fortunately for us, there was no brood on any of that honeycomb. It was all honey. So that part worked out really good. So that way, when we start cutting out where the brood is, and I can put all this in a separate ice chest, it won't get any honey on it. The odds of all this stuff being viable in our hive is like better than 90%, maybe even 100%, because we're clear of all the honey. Now we may have some sections of it when we cut that we might hit into it, but I suspect that when I cut across this line right here, what I'm going to be cutting through is brood. And then as long as I keep my orientation, which is this being up inside of my box, and the way I do that is I turn the hive over and put the cut part down. There should be no issues of when I reframe it that I should put it in there. Now I've had questions in the past that people ask, well, is that going to be bad for the brood by turning it upside down for the time being? And the answer to that is no. I'll keep the brood, as many bees on the brood as I can, and all that stuff will work out. They're only going to be in that ice chest not even 2 hours, I bet. So it's going to be, it'll work out. Let me kill another beetle. It'll work out very well for us. And then by the time we get up to this part, back to our honey, we should be out of our brood, and everything should be okay. So I'm going to remove the bees on this side of the comb and keep the bees on the other side. good. All right. Let me see if she is marked. No, she's not marked. Wow, the very end, and just full of drones. You know, I've been seeing this lately as I've been doing the removals, that the drones, you know, the males, they a bunch of ninny chickens, because you never see them until you're at the very end of the hive. So they're running away with the queen the whole time. Oh, run away, run away. And all the worker bees, the girl bees, they're getting vacuumed up, put in the box, but no, the drones, they're going to wait till the end, just like the queen. And it makes it harder to find a queen when you have all the drones all around it, because they're basically the same size, the drone bee. So we got a drone and a queen inside the cage right now. And you can see the difference between them. The drone is just like a fat bug, and the queen is just like a bee with a big old butt on her. So you got two different kinds of bees in there, and you can see why it makes it hard to find the queen unless she's got a big old butt like this one's got. But as soon as I looked up in there with the flashlight, I saw her orange big old butt and nailed her. So thank you, Jesus. Wow. Awesome. Because we had so many bees on the outside, even when we started the the removal, Phil says, "Well, I'm an expert at these using these everything bee vacs," and so he said, "Let me get up there and get them bees." So he's going up there right now and get the ones that were on the outside, because we've already closed off the inside of the hive. So we want to get as many of the bees as we can, and this was definitely the way to do it. And Phil is finishing up on the outside, and let's go in on the inside and show you that. That's right, folks. It ain't there no more. Man, this was a beautiful hive, and some gentle bees, really great bees to work with. So let me go and show you the bees that we vacuumed, and we're going to wrap this video up. So let's check out our loot, huh? We got all of our bees. You can hear them. Can't see them too good. That is a lot of bees in here. A lot of bees. 20,000 easy. And then this box right here is all honey. And I'm going to try to get maybe 1 or 2 frames of honey I might be able to get out of there, that it's thin enough. Other than that, Phil's going to get to squeeze all that to give back to the bees, and for himself as well. And in our last box, here's all our comb with brood on it, and our queen down in the bottom. Folks, this was Phil's first ever bee removal, huh?
And hopefully my last ever bee removal.
Wait. I thought you said you liked it.
I did like it.
So tell me what was interesting, what you found interesting about it.
So looking at, I think honeycomb in a hive is different from seeing it in a wall. And
Right,
it's
there's
just,
no wood frame around it.
well, it's far more interesting the way that they build it. It's
Yeah.
just, I mean, you see structured building in a hive, and in here it's phenomenal looking. You see things you don't.
And one of the unique things about in these older houses where there's space given to the bees, where it doesn't limit them in their construction of the comb. Any highlights to this one?
I did get a kiss under the right eye right at the very end. But other than that, it was.
They were gentle.
Yes. So I've seen plenty of videos where bees are very angry, and you're kind of like, oh man, do I want to smoke these things? We didn't use any smoke.
No.
We just cut the wall open. Minutes later, we were hands on, and yeah, it was. I don't know. It was different.
Good.
Different. Very different.
So Phil, we've come to the end of the adventure. Well, we have to go back up to the Abbey and frame up this stuff and get the bees set up over there. and then Phil's going to get back home across the lake, and then he'll come up next week, pick up the bees, and bring them up here. So other than that, the video is going to be, we're going to end the video here, but we still got about an hour and a half of work to do. So anything to say?
Thanks for watching.
Keep on watching.
We'll be making more.
God bless. It's Mr. Ed and
Phil here.
and we're out of here until the next video. God bless everybody. Thank y'all.